Alright guys, today we're just going to be showing you how to use the leak down tester. So we've got a vehicle here today that's blowing a bit of white smoke when it starts up and when it's running. So the leak down tester is a great tester to identify what part of the engine is actually at fault or what's failed. You can also do like your compression test. That'll tell you like the compressions inside the vehicle, but this leak down tester is a great tool to find out if it's going to be an exhaust valve, an inlet valve, a head gasket, or your piston rings. So it's a great tool to have in your workshop, especially for jobs like this where you've got misfires and you can't work out what it is. You've got blowing white smoke and everything like that. So a couple of things you need to know, like this fitting for the air can be a little bit different to the ones that you do have in your workshop or at home. So it's not supplied with it, but you do or might need to get yourself another barb to go onto the end to make it work onto your system. Also, you'll find in the kit an extension for the your standard 5/16 spark plug, the connector hose, which is just also the 5/16. I'm pretty sure that's 5/16, and then the smaller adapter for the smaller spark plug. So you won't be able to use this kit on diesel motors. It's really only for your petrol spark plug style sort of motors. So we'll go in and I'll show you how to set it up and get it all working. I'm going to show you the setup and everything you need to do underneath the motor here. So what you need to do first is get your car up to operating temperature. Once that's up and nice and warm and everything like that, you want to remove all your spark plugs. Also remove your coolant overflow bottle cap, your oil cap, and then your oil dipstick, which I've got sitting here. So what you need to do is you need to get the piston up to top dead center on the compression stroke. So number one's really easy to determine where that is because you've got the timing marks to top dead center. So what I'll do is number two, I'll show you. So what I use is a dipstick down. You can feel the top of the piston. Let that sit there, and you grab your socket or ratchet, whatever you're using to turn the crank over. It's nice and slow. And you'll see the dipstick rising. It'll get to a point where it won't go up anymore and it'll start to go back down. Then you want to move it back until it's right up the top dead. So that's that one there. Next thing you want to grab is the attachment for the spark plugs. In the kit you'll find two other spark plug adapters. So sometimes you need a longer reach or a smaller spark plug. This one's just a straight standard. On that, nice and tight. It's got a little rubber ring in there to seal it up so you don't leak in past that. Next thing you want to do is connect your air up into your leak tester. So we've got the air connected up here and it's not connected to the spark plug tubed connector. Then you want to pull down on this and you start building up the pressure. What you want, you'll see this pressure gauge on this side rising, and then eventually the air will start coming up. So what you want to do is get it all the way around until it stops on the zero. Pretty close there, and then you lock it off. Take it back a little bit. That's there. So once that's on the zero, you've got your air pressure up there. Then you want to connect it to where the spark plug was. Now straight away it's gone straight to 100%. So it could be leaking 100% of air, but normally what that means is you're 180 degrees out, so you're actually on the exhaust stroke. So you could actually probably go around to the rear of the car, put your ear to the the exhaust pipe, you'll hear air coming out. So we're on the exhaust stroke. So what we need to do is put the dipstick back in again, turn it 180 degrees until it goes down and comes back up again, and redo the test. So we'll disconnect this. So the leak down tester is basically the defining factor of learning or knowing what is going to be the issue. So this will be able to help you tell you if it's an exhaust valve that's leaking, an inlet valve that's leaking, if it's piston rings or a head gasket or a block issue somewhere. So now we've got the dipstick in, we need to turn it 180 degrees. Back in. Dipstick goes back down. And rises again. Same as before, get it right to the point where it goes up and stops. So I'll go a little bit further, you'll see it coming back down again. Turn my ratchet back around. Back up. And repeat the test. So back to this tester again, make sure it's set back on 0 before you connect it. Back up. Okay. So now we're not reading 100, we're reading 60%. So there is a leak somewhere. We know that we're at top dead center now. So the next thing you want to be doing is going around to the different parts of the engine. So you want to be listening down to the exhaust here, through the inlet here, if you can hear any air. So if you hear any air through your manifold there, the inlet manifold, you're going to have any leaking exhaust inlet valve. If you can hear it down into your exhaust or out through your tailpipe, you've got a leaking exhaust valve. Next one, you want to be checking if there's any air bubbles in your overflow where you can hear air in your cooling system. That's a normal common one. You're going to have a blown head gasket or possibly a crack between the block and the pipe. But it's not more common. More common for the head gasket for your coolant leak. The next one, if you've got all that sorted, you've got no air that you can hear anywhere, you want to be going into your rocker cover and also your dipstick. So what I use to this little bit of hose amplifies the air a lot more. So I'll go straight into the top of the dipstick hole and listen down there. I can hear air in both of them, more prominent in the dipstick hole. So what that's telling me is there's air leaking past the piston rings and into the motor. So we knew this motor had an issue blowing smoke when it started up and when it was running. So what's actually happening is oil is actually bypassing those piston rings, coming up and actually getting burnt by the motor. So what you want to do is do this test across all 4. Write down the percentages that you get, and then you'll know it's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, or it might be across the whole board of the motor. So do those tests and then you get a more accurate reading and you know what's wrong with your motor. Find this tool available at onlineautoparts.com.au.